Yo, what's going on, guys? Lucas Tristan here, back with a new focused video around the DPL. If you do not know, the DPL is the Draft Premier League. It's kind of a take on the Smogon Premier League, where people get drafted to teams that were captained by other captains that have captains who draft people through an auction system. Uh, it was founded by King L5 and Dougal, and they've made this really run perfectly along with any other admins who have been helping with the progress. I know there's like Greg and Commonly, Blue, I think Money Guy as well. Maybe not Blue, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just saying what I know. I'm not going to go too much into that really. But anyways, yeah, as we see here, 10 teams, each having two captains. And yeah, so just to kind of give the rundown here, we have the Crusaders, captained by King L5 and Dougal, the owners, basically. Then we have Jerry Evolution, captained by Hiker Toad and Jake Moran. Then we have Zero Fox, given by Genius and K-Crick. Then we have High Jump Kex, captained by Elliot or Elliot slash Thick Bunny, however you want to say it. However he cares, I guess. If he doesn't care, then he doesn't care. But Thick Bunny and Jay Carson. Then we have Baguette Gang, captained by the Frenchies in Yorkin and Jabel. And then we have Trick of Eye here with LeJohn Flames and I think it's IA. It's not AI, I don't think. I hope not. But anyways, we move on to the V Creators, captained by Blue and Money Guy. Then going to Crit City, bringing in some APA guys from being captained by Panther 2 and Jacob as always. Then we move on to Toxispecs, probably what was acclaimed to be the most random pairing in there between Specs King and Specstar. Specky and Speta, I believe, is the easy way to say them. Then we finish off with Rising Phoenix in, I believe, Rising Phoenix is Sablo and Lapis or Lapis. I'm not too sure. I'm trying to get used to his name change because he didn't go by like that like before. Oh, it's whatever. But yeah. Anyways, to talk about DPL, the DPL draft is coming soon. The draft is more like an auction, but it's the same thing basically. Draft date is this Sunday, May 26th. Auction starts at 10:30 a.m. EST, so it sucks for PST people like me who have to wake up at 7:30 to see the juicy action. But anyways, it's fine. And as of right now, over 260 players have applied for the auction. That's 260 players. It's right now. It's actually more almost to the 270 players line. But yeah, no. So that's a lot of players. It's basically like having a huge reception. Like this is probably the biggest league, like draft league culmination since TTM tournaments, and this is a whole new take on a draft league kind of tournament because this is just a season, and this is so many different aspects than a tournament, but this is what makes it so unique and so special, and that's really cool. So what I what I ended up doing with this is I wanted to do a couple things. I wanted to talk to the captains. I wanted to uh, kind of get things out there, and I wanted to kind of set a precedence that's probably going to happen with what with the auction, how people are going to think, hopefully, and yeah. So basically, when talking to the captains, I got to talk to all the captains, thankfully, and I asked them what do they want in the players that they will what do they want in the players that they will ultimately auction for, and I basically took what they said really, and I kind of put it down into these 10 points here. I got a plethora of different answers, but a lot of them kind of culminated into these 10 answers. First, we have consistent skill, and having consistent skill is important because it needs to be together. You can't be skilled and inconsistent, but you can't be consistently bad, or else you're not going to be drafted. So it's like you need consistent skill. Kind of speaks for itself. Uh, being reliable. Going for an aspect of what coaches would want here, being reliable kind of goes with playing their games on time, uh, making sure that you're reliable for yourself, and make sure that you could be reliable for the team. It's kind of going into a couple of different points here. But it's like you want to be someone that you could be relied on to help out, do this and that. And really, it could also go for being reliable to win your game, you know? So, yeah, no. So that's part of it. Third point, good active presence. And this is one of those things that goes with the consistent skill where it has to be together. You could be a good presence but not active, and it won't work out that well. You could be an active presence but not good, and it won't work out well. So being a good active presence within your team servers or just DPL server, just in general, would be the kind of case for being a good active presence, which captains would want in their players. Uh, Next point, we have being a team player. Going with team player, this is a team tournament, you know. You can't just have one person think only for themselves. You have to have someone who is willing to uh, team prep with your team. You have to have someone willing to listen to other ideas. You have to have someone to help mock, like give mock games to the your teammates. You have to have people that have uh, try to try to be a good teammate. You know, you have to keep your teammate being um, motivated even after a loss, because losses will happen in this tournament. You know, uh, yeah. So it's something that's important overall. Kind of goes with being a good active presence and reliable, but you get the point. Being smart or clutching up, in the words of King L5 himself, quote unquote, piping up. Yeah, so smart and clutch is playing the game smart. Make sure that you do what you need to do to win. And when you go to like the clutch aspect is if you're in a situation where it doesn't look too good for you, you need to be able to get into the spot where you need to win. And you need to make the plays, you need to make the reads, and ultimately do what you need to do to get the win in the end, because your team is might need that win. You never know. Um, Next one is confidence. Confidence is key because you don't want like there's this player info section, and there's gonna be there's been a lot of people that's been like, "Hey, I'm not good." And it's like that's not confidence. That's not gonna get you drafted. And yeah, basically, be confident. Be confident in your play. Be confident in your prep. Because if you feel unconfident, that could lead to captains not wanting to play you or even draft you in the first place. Being motivated is next. Captains don't want half-assed efforts in DPL, because this is like this isn't a life or death thing, but it's a matter of respect, because you don't want someone to just be half-assing on your team, because in total, like that won't help your team, and you might lose games over it. Really, so it's like you want to make sure that your teammates, your players, the captain's players are motivated. Really. Moving on, flexible. With DPL, we have different aspects that you can be flexible in. Basically, what's going on here is you could be flexible in the format you play, because you could either play Sun and Moon or you can play ORAS. So whether you play either one of those can really change an aspect for your team. And what really goes into this is like some players will play mostly ORAS, some players could play mostly Sun and Moon, and it could change a whole dynamic, because I believe there's like some players that only did uh, only did Sun and Moon and only did ORAS, but that could actually affect how you get drafted or might not be drafted. Secondly, is being flexible with the teams that you're able to use, because what you have five different teams for ORAS and Sun Moon that you might have to be able to use. So you have to be able to be flexible and use those teams all efficiently well to try to be the best player for the team. Next, we have good attitude. If you have a shitty attitude, it's just not going to help your team. Really, like there's frustration, and then there's just bad attitude that doesn't get anyone anywhere. And then the last point here we have is being creative. Creativity, helping a prep and stuff like that. Uh, it's very nice for a team aspect because it might just be something that it's a wild card when it comes to it. Being creative could set like a small edge over your opponents because it's something that they wouldn't think of. It could just go with so much, and being creative is very very uh, smart. Really, it's really in addition, it's a positive to a team aspect. Yeah, so that's basically what the captains want in their players. But even if you do have these qualities, we have to move on to the harsh reality. And the harsh reality is that captains have to only draft 7 to 9 coaches, and not all coaches have those traits. And they just have to make the best overall team, really. And even if we have 10 captains draft 9 players each, with the amount of players that applied and the final team aspect, it at the very least only 66 like only like 66% of applicants will not be drafted, and that's at the very least. So that's saying it could go up a lot more, and that's just the harsh reality of it. And it's kind of hard for people. It could be a little bit demoralizing, but it's something that they need to make sure that they understand with this. Uh, who will the captains most likely draft? People they know, people who are skilled, people who do well in tryouts. I know that last season, DWT, DPL's worst team, as it was called, they did tryouts and they took about 3 players from those tryouts and they went to the playoffs. So there's a couple teams that are doing tryouts. If you want, I'll leave those links in the description, I guess. I know there's a pretty good amount of servers that are open right now. So, yeah. People who fulfill the wanted attributes, as I said in about 2 slides ago. Yeah, no. If you have most of those attributes, then yeah, that's good. And lastly, people that go off of coach recommendations. Uh, this really it's basically the people you know can get you into high places. But it depends. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Um, and just a quick side note to the players that to this is to the players. Just because you don't get drafted doesn't mean you don't have those qualities. Doesn't mean that you don't have what the coaches want, their captains want, or fit like the aspects of who the captains will draft, because this auction is ultimately so cutthroat, and the captains have so many things to focus on, and really there's so many different things. It leads to a wild auction, and there's nothing. It's not really something to try to take away from yourself because it's just like the captains have to go through so much. Really, this is a very I don't want to say extreme, but this is a very, 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 um, what would I say? A very extensive process to go through, and sometimes things get overlooked. You could be overlooked, but it doesn't mean you're a bad player, you know? And give me a second while I take a drink of water real fast. Ah, okay, so moving on. I also went to captains and I got aspects on what they think that they should do come to the draft day, and because the thought process of this is obviously they want to buy players, they want to get the draft and take players on their that they think will be good on their team. But I wanted to go a little bit deeper on that, like what's a mindset. So as we could see here, be smart and plan ahead. Um, Basically, have a list of players that you think that you want, and just go with it. Uh, and then read the trends. is a little bit easier said than done. Probably a lot of bit easier said than done, really. But read the trends. Hold on. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Read the trends. If you see that someone's going for a high pace, then or high price rather, not high pace, high price, then it could be a totally different aspect than people going for low price or seeing the draft is reaching the lower price and end, just stuff like that. Try to read the other captains and seeing if they're just trying to bait prices going up. Just there's a lot of stuff to try to read into this. Maybe this really goes for if you're interested in a person. Be patient. Yeah, this was something that's like just if you be patient, then captains will like for the captains. If you be patient, eventually something will come and your opportunity will come, and you could get something that you want at a very easy price, maybe. Uh, Next thing to note is low value can be valuable. I think the best way to represent this would be in DWT or DPL's worst team in season one, where they drafted the three-man core of Draw 15, Jarrett, and TJB. And those three players went for 28,500 combined, I believe. Like, so those three, add them all up, that's what their final price was. And altogether, I think they went around 15 and 5. And like that's extremely good for like the price that they got. Like to have those lower priced players do that much work, that's amazing, and it really ultimately pushed them to the playoffs, especially when they started 0-3. Uh, Next thing going forward is set limits on the players who want. I heard this a good amount of time. They like some people don't want to go over the budget on a player, but that goes for the next point here. You want to set the limits on players you want, but in the same space, don't be afraid to spend money. And I think the best place to kind of example this would be looking at John W. and Random of last season, where they spent 45,000 on Gypsy King. And granted, Gypsy King, great player, and some say it was worth it. Some say it wasn't. I think Gypsy King even said he wasn't worth 45,000. But ultimately, it there's arguments saying that it worked out because I heard Gypsy King was active in the team chat. He was doing the most he can. He was doing really good in his games as well. Just sometimes you have to pay to get results, and this and so maybe sometimes setting a limit on someone, maybe you have to break past that sometimes, basically. And to go to my last point here, um, all captains, this is to all the captains out there, all captains should draft Jarrett Legault. Now, let me tell you about Jarrett Legault. If you don't know him, God, you don't know this goat, man. This guy, oh, let me give you 5 good reasons to draft him. First off, his looks. This guy is 100% a complete snack. I'm not going to post his picture because I didn't ask, and yeah, he probably would hate me for it, but that's fine. He is over 6 feet tall. God, we all love the tall men, right? Second or third point here, he could pull off a long hair or short hair look. Who like who? Not everyone can do that, but that is key, man. Then what? We go. His middle name is Diamond, just like how he looks, because he is a gem, dude. Oh, he is beautiful. And if I had to make any comparison, as you can see here, Tom Cruise and Rain Man. Look at that. How do you not tell me looks aren't important, and you'll be wrong 95% of the time. Uh, Now moving on to legitimate, kind of more legitimate reasons for DPL. Consistent skill. God, Jared is such a goat, man. He is always at a high skill level. He has many accomplishments ranging from Oras to Usum that have still been adding up today. Like the last couple of weeks, he's been in playoffs, he's been in championship games, just so many like that. Uh, if I asked him, and he said that he had around her over 10 championships. He said that he got championships in most leagues that he's played in. So yeah, so going off championships, he's had a lot more playoff runs. So you know that he is at a high level most of the time. If I had to say a comparison, he is the Russell. You know, he is like Bill Russell. He is just that good. And yeah, you know what? Third, reliable and clutch. He plays on time. He wins under pressure. He gets out of sticky situations. He is the Kobe Bryant, really. You know, he just gets hit. Like I think it was the last week of the season. He was playing crypto and he was in a bad situation and he turned it around and he won that game. And I don't know if it mattered in case of getting DWT to playoffs, but he won it anyway because he is a GOAT, man. Kobe Bryant. Reason number four, he's a great presence and a great teammate. He will be active in team chats. He will help with team building and he will give mocks. He has a great attitude in the game. Uh, he's so flexible. He could work with a lot of different teams. He could work with both formats as well. He's so smart and creative when it comes to prep help as well. He is just a fucking GOAT, man. And fifth reason, his DPL history. He was drafted to the DPL's worst team, DWT, as I was stated a couple times here. And really, only good reviews from his team and others around the league, like other captains and other players around the league. Only good reviews because of how good he is and how he was with the team. Really, talking about how he went 4-1 in the regular season. He didn't play all 7 games in the regular season, but he played 5 of them, and he went 4-1, and he helped his team, the DWT, go from 0-3 to 4-3 and into the playoff games. And talking about that clutchness, he won his playoff games against Specs King and the team that would eventually be the champs of DPL Season 1 and TTM. So basically, he helped his team. He helped DPL, or not DPL's worst. Yeah, he helped DPL's worst team, DWT. He helped them be in a close situation for a playoff series. And oh my God, let me tell you, this man is Jared is just so fucking good. Draft Jarrett Legault. And just to recap here, Jarrett Legault is a gem of a player, and he will help get your team the W's. That's just plain and simple. Every team should try and bid for Jarrett Legault, and plain and simple. A not so bold prediction: the team with Jarrett Legault will win DPL Season 2. That's a fact. No printer. That's a fax right there. God, speaking so fast in a very short amount of time. Wow. But yeah, so the recap, and that's the end. Thank you all for watching this. Yes, as we could see, everything kind of picked up a different kind of tone in the last couple slides, but I did have a lot of fun making this. I had this PowerPoint, really. I had a lot of fun getting this info because before when we went into draft Jared kind of phase, we have the stuff like drafting and like what the captains want and stuff like that. Like with these, I legitimately went and talked to captains about it. And hold on a second. I went and talked to captains about this stuff, and I felt like taking the stuff that they said can help really kind of everyone involved. Like, if there's captains who haven't thought about what aspects like some of these attributes, then that's really good. Like, they could get a new perspective on it. Players, they know what to be, basically. They know how to try to push themselves. Then we have, for some captains, we have a lot of new captains. I believe the total number is, we have 16 new captains this season. And really, with the auction being kind of a new system, this could end up helping them. I wanted to uh, kind of push like a narrative of how the DPL would be, and try to get some general information out there and some like kind of food for thought with how things should be. And basically, I cannot say it enough. Give coaches or give the captains some slack. Oh my God, shouldn't be coaches, but give captains some slack because they have an extremely hard job, really. So yeah, that's that. Uh, and like I said, last thing to recap is draft Jarrett Legault. That's basically it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Uh, I hope you were able to learn something from this. Maybe it's not really anything but draft Jarrett, but that's it. Thank you guys. I'll catch you next time. Bye.